Imagine this, a film that doesn't just tell a story, but becomes a mirror for our collective obsession with legacy, resilience, and the weight of art. That's what's happening with Elsinore, the new film opening the London Film Festival. And honestly, I think this is one of those rare projects that feels like it was made for the moment we're living in, where stories about artists battling impossible odds have never felt more urgent. Let me break this down for you. First, the setup. Andrew Scott, the man who gave us the hauntingly intense Sherlock and the tragedy of Macbeth, is not just acting in this film. He's producing it. That's wild, right? It's like when a musician writes a song and then decides to record it themselves, but with the added pressure of being both the star and the gatekeeper. What does that say about his vision for Ian Charleson's story? Personally, I think it means Scott wants this film to be more than a biopic. It's a love letter to the craft itself. And Olivia Colman? She's the co-star, but her presence alone elevates the project to a level where you can't help but think about how she'll bring this character to life with the same kind of quiet power she showed in The Favourite. Now, let's talk about the director, Simon Stone. He's known for The Dig, which was a slow-burn masterpiece about preservation and memory. Translating that sensibility to a story about an actor preparing for Hamlet? That's like asking a painter to recreate the Mona Lisa but with a twist. What makes this really interesting is the contrast between the literal performance of Hamlet and the meta-performance of Charleson's own struggle. It's not just about acting, it's about the act of creation itself, the sacrifices, the madness, the obsession. And honestly, I think that's why the BFI is so proud to open their festival with this. It's a statement: art isn't just entertainment, it's a battle. But here's what people might not realize: the film's release dates are telling. It opens in London in October 2026, then hits UK theatres in early 2027, with the US following in November 2026. That's a tight window, and it makes me wonder, why now? Is this a response to the current climate of cultural fatigue, where audiences crave stories that feel authentic, unpolished, human? Or is it a calculated move to ride the wave of nostalgia for classic theater? I'm leaning toward the former. We're in an era where people are questioning the value of art in a world that feels increasingly disposable. Elsinore could be the antidote to that. And let's not forget the cast. Billie Piper, Johnny Flynn, and the list goes on. This isn't just a film, it's a who's who of British talent. But what's fascinating is how they're framing this as a community story. The BFI statement mentions community, resistance, and the triumph of art. That's not just buzzword fluff. It's a direct challenge to the idea that art exists in a vacuum. This film is positioning itself as a celebration of collaboration, of people coming together to create something that outlives them. In my opinion, that's the real takeaway here. It's not about Ian Charleson's individual struggle, it's about how art thrives when people fight for it, even when the odds are stacked against them. So, what does this mean for the future of cinema? If Elsinore succeeds, it could signal a shift toward more intimate, character-driven stories that prioritize emotional truth over spectacle. But if it flops? Well, that's the risk of telling a story that's as much about the process as the product. Either way, I think this film is worth watching, not just for the performances, but for what it says about the state of art in our time. What do you think? Should we be excited, skeptical, or somewhere in between?